Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1999 Ford E-350 van. Up front is a 5.4 liter V8, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this van because this is a former church van. So if you grew up here in the United States, and if you went to church, odds are they had a giant passenger van like this for youth trips, shuttles, things like that. And so this was actually a former van from a church. And so today we're going to be taking a look at A, what these are like, but B, how sweet a 15-passenger van really is. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 5.4 liter V8. Well, it's known as the Triton V8, and it's not Ford's best engine that they ever made. They had several issues, mainly with spark plugs. That's kind of what they're known for. They'll either shoot them out of the head or they'll crack off and fall into the head. Either way, not great. They also have timing chain issues, and these are interference engines. Now, this is the 2-valve version of the 5.4 liter. They later added a 3-valve in, I believe, 2004, and they also gave it VVT, which was a whole mess of its own. So this is actually a little bit more reliable than the engine that came right after it. But then, of course, there was the 4-valve, which they put into the Ford GT, and they used in trucks up until the early 2010s. So it's not a great engine, but it's lasted 190,000 miles. And I also drove the owner's other van, which had over 250,000 miles on it. So these engines are reliable enough if you maintain them. If you plan on buying one, check the timing chain and see if the spark plugs have been fixed. Like I said, bear do it 4-speed automatic. Yep, that's it. And then last but not least, this is rear-wheel drive. This does have 4-wheel ABS, however, no traction control. How does it feel to drive the 99 Ford Econoline E-350? Well, it drives like a truck for very main reasons. I just got out of the E-150, and this one definitely rides a lot harder. However, it was meant to handle more weight. I'm sure fully loaded with 15 passengers, it probably rides a lot nicer, but I'm driving it solo dolo here today, so that suspension is rather unforgiving. The power's fine, the drivability of it's decent, visibility is good, and it's not hard to drive. You know, I remember back in the day, not only the big burly guys driving the vans, but also people 5 foot and under could drive one of these very comfortably. So that is certainly nice to see. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 5 gauges. Off to the left is the fuel and coolant temperature. In the center is the speedometer, and off to the right is the oil pressure and battery voltage. The steering wheel does have cruise control on it. Very nice to see that. And off to the left, we have our climate vent and headlight switch. Moving out of the door, we have power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. And moving into the center, we get our climate controls, which the AC works! Yeah! The last one I drove, the AC did not work, and I was sweating like a freeze pop in a sauna. So I am just, so happy to have AC here today. We also do have fan speed for the rear, which we could also set on our own, that we'll talk about a little bit later on. But then we do have a radio. Now, this radio is actually pulled out of a 2000 E-150, so it does have the CD player. Normally, it would have came with a cassette player. Here's what the original radio looked like. Then we do have a center console. Again, this was actually pulled out of the 2000. So we will do a big freaking bottle test, and it passes. So both the 99 and the 2000 pass, so it doesn't really matter either way, but plenty of storage space here in the E-350. Then we do get a lot of cubby space down below. Ford was pretty good about doing this in their vehicles of the era, and we get a little center console. The seats are very comfortable. They are cloth, and because this vehicle sat most of its life just in a church parking lot waiting for the next youth trip, the interior is actually really well kept, and that's really nice to see. They're very, very spongy and comfortable. You sink into them, and they are the epitome of 90s American comfort that these brands were so well known for. However, speaking of seats, we got a lot of back ones. So let's do a lot of backseat reviews. All right, so we're in the second row of the E-350, and the seat cushion is actually a little bit harder than I would have thought. This only has 190,000 miles on it, so it's barely broken in. We do have ashtrays and cup holders off to the left, and this is one of many benches. Now, the Chateau that I also reviewed had 2 captain's chairs here, so you could get them in several different configurations. This is the 15-passenger variant, so very, very cool. But now let's try out the third row. Third row's good. We have more ashtrays and cup holders back here. This is also easily accessible from the door. The last 2 rows, a little bit less so. Headroom's great. I get my own vents, and I really am the one that gets to control the fan speed. Although it is over the second row, you would have to kind of lean awkwardly back. This is right in my grasp for the fan speed. We also do get lights that turn. Very nice to see that. Let's get into the fourth row. Fourth row's good. Still great space. No cup holders or ashtray back here. So, smoking section, non-smoking section. Good to know. 2 more climate vents up here. 3 seat belts, 3-seater. Let's hop into the fifth row. And here we are finally at the back. There are 4 seat belts back here. That's how it's able to be 15-seater. So 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Did I do that right? No cup holders, no ashtrays, but still good room, but we don't have any vents. So each row loses something. So at least the fourth row didn't have cup holders and ashtray, but it still had vents. Now I have no vents, no ashtrays, no cup holders. I get nothing at all. But again, you can carry 15 human beings in this vehicle. That's like 110 soft shell crabs. I don't know the direct conversion rate, but it's somewhere in there. So now I'm gonna work my way back up to the front in a very 2006 OK Go music video kind of way. Let's look at the cargo space. Right around the back of the E-350. Open it up like that. Then we have a secondary handle just like that. Oh, no, come back. There we go. Obviously, with it being a 15-passenger, you don't really have extra room, so the owners usually remove this bench, which is totally understandable, but that's what you get around the back of the 15-passenger E-350. Now we gotta talk about the looks. It's a van. If you couldn't notice, it is red. If you also couldn't notice, for my colorblind folk out there, it is red in color and it is blocky in shape. That's it. That's all you really need to know about the E-350. I don't think they're extra handsome. I don't think they're this wildly beautiful. No, it's a church van. It's always going to be a church van. So there you go. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the E-350 here today? Well, I, of course, really enjoyed this experience. I'm so happy to have AC. I'm so happy to have a nice V8. This has been a nice experience. And I think overall, it's been a very practical experience, which I really appreciate. Modern day minivans and SUVs especially, they say, oh, they're for families, they're for practicality, they're for this, they're for that. If you buy an SUV or a minivan here today, you probably say, yeah, I have a family, I need that. But this thing's as big as an Escalade and seats way more. This is even more practical than those vehicles. So, if you buy a minivan or buy a 3-row SUV, yes, you're saying I have a family, but you also have other needs. You have, well, I want it to look kind of nice when I pick the kids up from soccer practice. I want the rear TVs. I want the heated seats. This van is unapologetically built and made for one single thing: getting people around. It doesn't care about anything else. And why should it? It doesn't have to. That's the nice thing about this, is that this vehicle is so focused on one particular thing that it does that incredibly well. It handles like a cinder block on rolling wheels. It accelerates like a hamster on a wheel with a broken leg. But that stuff doesn't matter. You have 15 people in here. Name me another vehicle that isn't a school bus that can bring 15 people to one destination with only 4 wheels. That's what I like about this van so much. It's not catering to Bobby or Susie or Jimmy or Timmy. It's not trying to make anyone happy. It's not even trying to look good. It has its eye on the prize and nothing else matters. That is what makes this van so flippin' great. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to John for letting me borrow another one of his Econoline vans. He's been absolutely wonderful to work with. I have reviewed several of his vehicles here today. He's been such a gracious host. He has a wonderful family as well, and I am very, very appreciative. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.